Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 133. Eris is a baddie. So, um, you know, probably this week is going to be dominated by some talk of what happened story wise this week. So, there's going to be definitely spoilers there if you haven't been able to play or not up to date with what's going on. We are also going to be talking into some weapon changes, exotic changes, good and bad. And then that's most of it. Probably be a pretty efficient show as we were last week.
Very efficient, if I had to guess.
I got a little more lore this time, but yeah. I'm willing to bet.
And I think that we are now live on Twitch. So if you're there joining us, this is the pre-show. We will be talking some about the lore, the seasonal event that happened, like story-wise. So if you don't want to be spoiled, we'll give us a little spoiler warning. We'll try to contain it to one part, and then I will denote it in the show's audio if you listen, like Spotify, iTunes, other podcast services. Subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, all that.
Yada yada yada.
And then from there, we'll do like a audio or a thing in the video. We'll have Chad do like ASL or something, and let you know when you can come back. I mean, you can do SSL, I guess. I guess that's a thing. I know there's BSL for British Sign Language. I know there's American Sign Language. I assume there's Spanish Sign Language, right?
I don't know. I don't speak Spanish, and I'm also not deaf.
You speak some Spanish. You make fun of me for my Spanish.
I know how to pronounce it. I've heard it my whole life, but I don't know what they're saying.
Isn't this like hang loose? But that's like universal, right?
I think that's for surfers. You guys play any other games this week?
No. The only time I played was on Tuesday.
I hopped on Tuesday. So my wife got me to play a game, and it's a game I never thought I'd play. I know Jared's familiar with this game.
Berry Farm?
Because his wife plays it. Is it Palia? I believe it's pronounced.
Yeah.
Dude, I think I played that game for like 10 hours over the course of 2 evenings.
Oh no.
Sounds right.
It's basically MMO Stardew, but like light MMO, and like obviously it's 3D and not 2D, but pretty good game. Pretty.
I tried it for about 30 minutes and I was like, this ain't it for me. And quit.
Okay. I have not played it.
I got to the point where I could catch butterflies and shoot the bow and arrow at the deer. And there was 2 mechanics. I'm like, all right, this ain't fun. So I quit.
Yeah. It takes about 2 or 3 hours to get past the main tutorial parts. And the bug catching is by far the weakest. I don't know. It's like parts of games that from like parts of other games that I like. There's kind of like light excuse me, exploration elements, kind of remind you of like a little bit of Tomb Raider-y, like light puzzle solving type stuff. Cornelius Cumberbatch is my name. If you ever see me on there, if you happen to play, just know that's me.
That's a name, my guy.
Wow.
We're sure to go over there and offer you a bug.
I don't want your bugs. Oh, I will take any sort of rare mineral that you have, however.
Mm,
So
okay. You need pyrite?
I'm
that'd be foolish.
I'm doing something for the first time ever in my life tomorrow.
Heroin,
Going to Win Fair.
Ren Fair,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
dude. Did you ever?
Make sure your wife
Did you ever
takes a lot
see?
of pictures of something for me.
Are you gonna eat a giant turkey?
I don't know. We'll
Giant
see.
turkey leg?
We'll see. There's also steak on a stick, so I might do that.
Dude,
Oh,
if you
heck
don't
yeah.
eat a turkey leg, I just consider me disappointed in you.
I mean, if he eats meat on a stick in general,
I wouldn't even, dude, I can do that at any Chinese restaurant in the tri-state. I can eat chicken and pork smushed together on a stick.
We'll see how it goes.
Do you guys not have that in your
No,
Chinese food?
I'm just thinking about whenever I see you, I'm gonna offer you some meat on a stick.
Did you ever watch the old school Barstool with Portnoy, Hank, Big Cat, and KFC, where they went to the Renaissance Fair and like they got kicked out?
I think I've seen like pictures. I never think I've seen the video of it.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
It's like it's pretty hilarious. I watched it recently and was dying laughing.
I got a it's like Viking weekend or something like that. So I got a cloak.
Are you going in? Oh,
Got a cloak. That's
oh, oh. Definitely gonna need video of that. King Richard's Fair.
There's been a couple times in my life where I could have got like Jon Snow's sword. I forget like what places I were.
What's
So
it
like a
Is it
replica.
Dragon Claw?
Yeah. So like I could have got that at some points in my life. And
I know where you can get one right now, but you had to drive to Ashland.
Might as well be on the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That time warp place up there. You ever been there?
Yeah, I think did it move around a couple different times in the mall? I guess.
Yeah, there's a mall location and there's also they have one kind of around like the Paramount, kind of down that way too.
Okay.
Like right in between Greenup and Winchester. Ready to let the dogs out?
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah.
get a couple coughs out here. You guys want to do a gambling corner on the intro?
Like, what do you mean? Like how long it's gonna take?
No, that's too
Or
easy
what?
to influence.
No. I swear to God, I won't look at it. You can ask Chad. I'm usually in between 1 minute and 33 seconds and 1 minute and 37 seconds is usually right where I hang. So we'll set 1 minute, 36 seconds over under.
You want to do that, Jared?
I mean, not really.
Okay. We'll do the one that we did this week in the game then. That for gambling corner. For the record, Chad, I'm gonna try to hit it exactly. 136.
136. I'd prefer 127 because that makes my job later easier.
All right. Clicking the button. Oh, wait. Who did that? Was it Sam that did? I haven't read it in a couple hours. Did Sam do the
Sam, yeah.
swab?
Sam.
TWID?
Sam.
Am. Button clicked. Eyes up, Guardians. We are live for episode 133 of the Conqueror's Corner podcast. Today is Thursday, October the 5th, and I am the Destiny bad boy. Here with my fire team, who all of you CCBs know by now. Jared.
Hey everyone, we got exotic purchasing that the prices are going down with this tough economic market going on. And then we got some sandbox changes.
And the chronicler himself, chadocero.
Well, since we finished up a lore book this last Tuesday, we're going to start going through one, so be ready.
And don't forget, if you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch, thank you. But you can take us on the road via Spotify, iTunes, and other podcast services. Make sure you subscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe, click the bell, turn on notifications, yada, yada, yada. Follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us Bungie friend requests so we can play games together. Get in the Discord server. I see a lot of Destiny in our near future, kind of wrapping up a few of the seasonal things, chasing some red borders, and a lot of times we're one or two short, and you could be a part of that. We do have a lot to discuss from the TWID, kind of. But before we get into that, let's listen to the intro music, who is brought to us from everybody's favorite Link, who you can find on Twitter at LinkOfTimeG. 124, way under.
Man, 3 more seconds of babbling would have had it.
Yeah. I didn't say my name on there anyway, so forgot to say NotRyanFox. Stupid.
Squigs. Yep.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I have squiggles. Everybody else have squiggles.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow, Link. Awesome job. Thank you. Jared?
All right, this week, so we'll kick it off with Rahul, and the Price is Right. So, what is this? This is probably the 3rd season now of exotic focusing with Rahul, and it started out kind of pricey. You know, you got exotic Cipher, exotic Engram, and then you got to use an Ascendant Shard, and then if you focus specifically, you have to use 3 Ascendant Shards. So that price, depending on the type of player that you are, can either be like, that's not really much to me, or like, wow, that's a whole lot just to focus for one exotic that has a chance to have a terrible stat wall. That imbalance kind of led to Bungie not really liking to where the time invested needed to focus in an exotic, and they kind of called out the people that maybe only play for a few hours a week and don't really bank up those Ascendant Shards. Like, if you're not really like grinding out Grandmasters, like, I mean, what's the other places players are really getting them from? And that's mainly like maybe like a vendor rank up or in the season pass. So they're bringing down the cost of those. So tier 1, so that's just like focusing per season that the exotic came out. That's going to be 30,000 Glimmer and 10 enhancement prisms. And then tier 2 is going to be focusing on a specific exotic. That's going to be 60,000 Glimmer and 2 Ascendant Shards. So basically Ascendant Shard less than what it shipped as. Overall, it's probably a better price that I see. I wish it was you would have an option instead of like 2 Ascendant Shards to do 20 enhancement prisms instead, because like I have so many enhancement prisms, like I never get rid of those, and it costs like 50,000 Glimmer to take 10 enhancement prisms up to Ascendant Shard, which there's like a different like equivalence that they could trade those out for. All right.
Whenever I read that, I thought they thought people would get Ascendant Shards a lot more than they do. Like, whenever I read through that, and I was like, man, what are these guys like smoking? The only thing that I ever get Ascendant Shards from are Grandmasters, or at the very end of the season, whenever I rank up like max out a vendor, like rank 16 or 17 or whatever, and then the ones that come from the season pass. Other than that, I'm not touching Ascendant Shards. Like, I don't ever get them to drop from like the legendary activities. I see other people get them, but I don't hardly ever see them.
Yeah, there's small changes around. And, like if you do an Iron Banner reset when Iron Banner's there, you're going to get an Ascendant Shard. By that time, you're also probably going to reset Shacks too. You get another Ascendant Shard that way. So if you're, if you're going to the Lighthouse and Trials, you're getting tons of them that way. For those false few select of players. And like the season pass, is a pretty easy way for people to get 6 Ascendant Shards a season. So yeah, I think it's tough on new players because you see fully crafted armor, fully maxed out, and they see the price that goes into that, and you're like, well, I could masterwork two armor pieces or spend that Ascendant Shard, 2 Ascendant Shards to try to focus for one exotic. It's just too high at that point to take the chance on a terrible stat wall. All right, mid-season armor and weapons preview. So here in a few weeks, we'll be halfway through the season. I imagine this is probably going live whenever the Festival of the Lost starts. So I imagine this is going to go live at that same time. Atreus words have been, back to the top exotic being used in PvP. And they were reflecting a lot of damage, improving slide and stuff like that. So they're going to tone those down. So Reflective now requires a full class ability to deploy. Following a deactivation of the reflection, your class ability energy is drained proportional to the amount of damage you reflected. So if you reflect more damage, more of your class ability got drained. And then it no longer improves slide. So I don't quite agree with no longer improved slide, because I think that's an okay passive buff for exotics, especially with something that now it's going to take forever to recharge for a Titan, depending on their barricade that they choose. But whenever something's up top for too long in PvP, they always bring it down way farther than it actually needs to be. Young Arhamkara Spines, that's Hunter exotic. Reduce the trip mine grenade bonus health from 100 to 70, and then remove the bonus damage resistance by 50%. And then grenade energy is now provided on ability kills instead of damage with ability. So this is going to bring down the uptime of it in PvP and PvE, make it less potent. I know these were starting to catch on pretty strong at the limited amount of I played PvP this season, and the people really know how to stick them on walls and get those grenade kills. You just feel like every time you build up against that person, they're finishing off with a grenade on the wall. But that's the only 2 exotics are changing, which kind of seems pretty light to me at this mid-season. Maybe they're really just gearing up for next season and making a big tuning pass on some exotics. We can hope for and see what they call out for in the future balances here. Now weapons.
Did you think it was weird there were no Warlock exotics that were mentioned?
I mean they just got to be perfectly balanced, right?
Yeah, they're exactly
right.
where they need to be.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Please don't bother anything. Warlocks have been overpowered since Forsaken. I don't understand. Whatever. I try not to. I mean, not that the dozens of people that we speak to like we're gonna affect anything. But
Yeah.
dude, like, what are they doing? Like,
There's dozens
they never
now?
get. Yeah. Well, but not baker's dozens, just regular dozens.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know. I saw that, and everybody always complains about warlocks, but yet they never get touched in most of these things. Like, I guess Starfire and Phoenix Protocol are really the only things that have ever been hit super hard.
The Skull of Alhamkara.
The
really got
Geomag,
hit hard.
Geomag's
Yeah.
a little.
Yeah. All right. We'll get into some weapon changes here. Not too happy with them, to be honest. SMGs, they're kind of outperforming, I guess, right now. So they're going to do another nerf to recoil and stability. I think this is like the fourth time around. Just what everybody wanted to read and hear. So they increased the recoil globally by 10%. And then they reduced the mouse and keyboard stability bonus from 20% to 10%. Nobody wants this. Nobody wanted this, Bungie. But yeah, here we are. Because there's Johnny Two Sticks are just complaining about going against people with mouse and keyboard. But yet they get to snipe people through walls because bullet bend and everything. So good. Good for them.
Right there with you, dog.
Auto rifles. There's going quite a bit of changes to all the auto rifle archetypes here. So the rapid fire frame fall off scaler is going from 1.7 down to 1.6. Adaptives are also getting that same nerf. Just auto rifles across the board. They are all going from 1.7 to 1.6. But adaptives, they increased the base damage from 14.25 to 15. And they decreased the crit hit multiplier from 1.6 to 1.55. Such that crit damage is going from 22.8 to 23.3 now. So just small tuning here or there. What this is going to do, just like some of the times, maybe if you got to get 7 headshots, now you got to get 6, and then the other ones being on body. So just making that time to kill floor come up a bit.
Hey, can I?
Yeah.
I got maybe a little controversial thing here. Why? I don't understand. This is where I'm at with Destiny right now.
Yeah.
Like, most of these changes are like for PvP purposes, and I feel like you have one team, like the weapons team, that are like super hyper tuned in, focused, tuning, like making like the 0.1% changes, like, or literally 0.05 changes, from 1.6 to 1.5, like tinkering this down just a little, then tinkering up the damage just a little. But why? Like, there's no like game modes, like maps. I feel like you got one team that's trying real hard, and nobody else gives a shit. Is kind of the way that it feels. You know what I mean? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah, I hear you a bit. So you thinking that this weapons team and how they're tuning these weapons are putting way more time and effort in than the maps team, than the game types team, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine if every like team took as much honor, not honor, took their job, like did as much as this team does. Imagine what kind of game we'd be playing right now. And I don't think it's necessarily the team's fault. I think it's like the people that have the vision at the top that are like moving and shifting, but I just don't understand why we're worried about a critical hit multiplier going from 1.6 to 1.55 and upping the critical damage whenever, we could use some maps, and like it just seems like kind of stupid to do this.
Well, I think the simple answer for me is just like it's way easier to change these numbers than we probably think it is. than it is compared to like making a game type and making a map.
I am sure it's a lot easier to tune that, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like we're just like have you ever been in a shower that's not your shower? Like say you're at a hotel and you're just like can't quite find the right temperature in the water in the shower. And you're just kind of like going more towards hot and it's too hot and more towards, and I feel like that's what this team does. They're just constantly trying to find that perfect water temperature. And everybody else is either like they're already out of the shower and dried off and got their underwear on. You know what I mean? Like
Okay.
I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah, they completed the task and moved on. Yeah. Speaking of moving on, we'll move on to pulse rifles, and they're in an okay place as of right now. So increased damage fall off range at 0 stat by 1 meter. And then aggressive pulse rifles have increased the ADS damage fall off scalar to 1.8. There's 2 graphs there showing damage fall off multipliers and the ranges at base range to max range for each weapon archetype if you want to look through it. Things that stick out to me is base hand cannon, so that's your 180s and 140s. Max range would get you the 37.5. Aggressive hand cannons are up to 40.5. And then SMG's max is at 23.5. And then auto rifles and pulse rifles are maxing out at high 30s. Fusion rifles globally reduce the minimum damage that fusion rifles can deal after damage fall off from 50% to 45%. I do think, I mean, this is a nerf in PvE, right? Because when does it ever come into play where you're so far out of range in PvP where you're like those bolts are still constricted enough to make the kill?
If you play with only fusions, you kind of put yourself in those situations on purpose, because it is kind of oppressive if you can do it consistently, and it's hilarious. Because it's just a shotgun with extra range, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, the fact that for me, the simple fact that this didn't say PvP annoyed me, because I'm like, why do this in PvE? Who cares? Who cares if you're ranging a knight? Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Like it's not a bother. But I mean, that 5% drop means 1 extra bolt, I think, depending. But the fusions that I use to range are the high impacts. So those are the ones that get all the way out there. Ryan's eating crayons again on stream. And it's going to be one where I'm going to have to feel out that range. I might have to let people get 1 meter closer than I'm used to, which is going to be weird. I don't play PvP enough to get used to that change again.
Yeah. Well, it's not the only thing that's going to change for fusion rifles coming up here. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, snipers, they're going to buff them up a little bit here. So they decreased the airborne accuracy penalty by 20%. Sniper rifles are now as accurate at base as they were pre-airborne effectiveness with Eris equipped. So I love jump snipes. Anything in the game that you can make jump snipes better, I'm glad that they're doing that. Now, here's some nerfs, though. Aggressive sniper rifles, they decreased the body shot damage from 157.5 to 135. And then they increased the hit multiplier from 3 to 3.5. So that's to combat so it's going to do less damage on a body shot now, but crit is going to do more damage, or at least like about to where it was before. Adaptive snipers, they decreased the body shot damage from 131 to 119, and then they increased the crit multiplier from 2.95 to 3.25. Rapid fire frames, they buffed the body shot damage here. No, never mind. Sorry, they decreased it again. They decreased it from 90 to 85, and then the multiplier for crits goes from 3.25 to 3.45. Again, this is another thing that Fox just said. Like, they're just barely turning the tuning knob and not really giving anything too big of a buff or too big of a nerf when it comes to these weapons. Shotguns, they decrease the airborne accuracy penalty for precision frame slug shotguns by 20%. Again, so they're going to feel as good as they did with Icarus Grip before AE started. And then they decrease the airborne pellet spread penalty on pellet shotguns by 20%. So that pellet is going to be hitting a little bit more often now in the air. Perks Perfect Float. I feel like this was dead on arrival when it came here. It showed up. So they increased the base duration from 6 to 10 seconds, and then they increased the extended duration from 7 to 12 seconds. So once you get this procced, you can keep it procced for longer, and then it's easier to re-proc. And then the last perk here, Kickstart, they reduced damage bonus from 20% to 15%. So I've only seen that on fusion rifles, and another nerf there. Checkmate, they're going to be changing. Two changes coming. To the winning score now is going to be up to 125 from 100, and they are decreasing the frequency of heavy ammo spawns from 90 seconds to 180 seconds. So now those laning Larrys have even less reason to move out of their lane with a scout or pulse rifle.
Thanks, Dado. I can always tell when Dado puts out a video because there's a guy in our clan that joins our games and then parrots everything Dado said, which makes me laugh. But
the thing that makes me laugh there is it's not me.
No. It's nobody on this podcast.
I'm like, I don't do that. No, I don't.
You're like, no.
I was about to get mad for no reason. But no, the one of the reasons I liked Checkmate is because it was fast. I'm like, these games are nice. They get you hot blooded in there for a minute and then you're out. I'm like, okay, that's not bad. These are good, quick games when you want to get in and just dip your PvP toes in and remember why you don't do it and get out. But making it an extra, like that's increasing it 1.25 times. So by 25%.
Yeah.
Like that's adding an extra 2 minutes to a game, 2-3 minutes. I'm like, man, the games are already fine.
Yeah.
Don't make long, like, whatever.
If it was like their other tuning, they would have taken it to 102 instead of 100. So
no, it's 102.3.
All right. In season 23 and beyond, there's going to be a host of PvE tuning changes. So this will increase the base PvE damage for glaive projectiles and sniper rifles, increase damage against minor combatants for pulse rifles and auto rifles, and then greatly increase damage against champions for Vision 0 and Vex Mythic class. And those class-specific glaives are going to get another rework to make them more fun to use and maybe actually worth the exotic slot. Before we close out this TWID, they added more cutscenes to the archive. So on Destiny 2 YouTube page, there's a lot more cutscenes you can go back and watch. There you have it. That's the TWID.
Yay, TWID.
Good.
I shouldn't have been so negative. I apologize. I mean,
you spoke from the heart. It's all
sometimes it feels like
he has a lot of
what
heart.
are we doing? What are we doing here? What'd you just say?
Well, he said you speak from the heart. I was like, yeah. It's
what did you say?
Oh,
I thought you said I had a lot of heart. I thought you made a fat joke.
I didn't say that either.
That's what I was.
No. Plus, that's not even heart. That's extra tissue. That's not heart.
That's cardiac muscle, dog.
Yeah.
Coaches love me. I got all kinds of heart. I believe that takes us to 3 likes and dislikes. I'm going to start. I liked the story mission. I watched the cutscene and I was like, oh, and then I texted in the group chat because I'll be honest with you, didn't exactly know what it meant whenever the one thing happens, and I was like, oh my god, did they just like completely kill what everybody's thought was going to happen in the next thing? Because I didn't know, like, if all right, so we're just going to do spoilers right here. Whenever we do this, like, you can come back. So spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Whenever she cut Savatoon's throat, I thought I thought she was done. And I thought that I would have been so proud. And I thought that would have been a ballsy move for them to do that in like a season 3, like the 3rd season, just drop it in there. And because, everybody's thinking, oh, he's going to come back for the, the final expansion and all that. But had they had the balls to kill her and kill her ghost, Amaru or whatever, had they had the balls to do that, that would have been the most impressive thing they've ever done storytelling wise, in my opinion.
Yeah, and like whenever like Eris took that and killed her, and I was like, oh, she gets to absorb all the power, and I was like, oh, she's gonna be like grow fat with what was Callus's line?
Fat from strength.
Grow fat,
Yeah,
fat with strength or
fat from strength. I thought like
from
Eris,
strength, I think.
Yeah, I thought Eris was gonna like grow like 2 or 3 times like bigger whenever she like did that, but
yeah,
that was awesome though.
I mean, they did. I understand why they couldn't. Like, they put a lot of character building and all that into her, but that would have been the most shocking. The only thing that would have been more shocking was if the Forsaken advertisements wouldn't have told you Cade was dying, and then Cade died. Like, that would have been the only thing.
It happened in the beginning, dude. You know how many more people would be invested in that story?
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was. I thought that this season's been fairly strong, I would say. I mean, it's not been my favorite. I'm not a huge Hive person, but a fairly strong season. Like, as far as like activities, we got a raid. Story's been good. I think the weapons have all been kind of hot garbage, but I'm probably the only one that thinks that. So, but just is a pretty good wrap, and they didn't make us wait until like 2 weeks before the season was over to see it. We went ahead and did it and got it done.
All right, my like is going to be, I was running the Spire this week. Spire summoning, right? And I don't have all the cards collected, mainly because I don't care. However, somebody threw a pulse nade at a ledge sorry, that I'd never been to before. And I jumped up there and there was one of the cards. So I was like, well, good for him. Thanks for that person, a random guardian, to throw that grenade on the ledge.
And if I would run with you, I would have gotten you all that nonsense. Yeah, there's that one random one when you jump into the final portal to go up, and it's like literally you jump on a plat and then you turn all the way around. And there's a little alcove there you can go into. My like, since Ryan took half of it, and I'm going to talk about the other half again, so there's going to be another spoiler sign here in a second, is that I'm done collecting cards. I'm done with cards. I'm done with Savatoon Spire. I'm done with Altars of Summoning. I don't need to do any of that nonsense unless it's a seasonal challenge, I guess, if I want to do something else.
To help me.
Or, yeah, sure. Yeah, but that's more of a fun time. This is like just that's just some dudes hanging out versus me having to grind something out.
Putting on the hard hat and having to get in there and grind.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there's just one card left, and it's from the final week. We're guessing it's the Navigator card for Amaru Engine. but we're not sure. So we'll find out where and what it is, but we're pretty sure because based on the three hive, well, the previous three hive gods, I guess. Now my dislike for the week, even though so spoilers again, is that based on the lore that happened, the Savathun going down, watching Eris banish Xivu from her own throne world, a lot of lore that happened just after that cutscene, literally like moments after that cutscene, happened in a lore book and not in that cutscene. I'm like, they could have made that cutscene 15 seconds longer and added this whole part. You had to go do some stuff and then go listen to the radio broadcast where Korra's like, oh yeah, by the way, we have Savathun's awake again because we let her get rezzed. We have Imaru. Like he's in our custody for now because she wanted to have some kind of like collateral. And I'm like, dude, what? And then I'm going through the lore and I'm like, bro, that's so important. Why didn't you put it in the cutscene? Because in the cutscene, it's literally within that same moment is when Savathun tells Imaru to stick with us for now. And it's like, bro, we need to know that. People zone out during the radio broadcast because there's 7 weeks that you've trained them to stop listening to it. So nobody listens. Don't do that. If it's important, put it in the cutscene. They'll watch that. Now that they're making them 120, I couldn't tell if this one was 120 frames or 30. I wasn't paying attention.
It's 30.
But
it was
30, yeah. It was only the Crota's End one. Dang it. But yeah, no, like it's so important, and we'll talk about it once I get to that lore book. But I'm annoyed by it. I'm annoyed because it was literally the exact same moment, and it was cut to be put into a lore book.
Do you pro tip? If you hit escape during all those, it'll pull all it up in text form, and I can read it and comprehend it faster than I can listen to it. But I also saw that, Chad. And do you think I had the same thought? Do you think it's because they weren't able to get like the voice acting or something? Maybe like for Savvy.
I mean,
to be able
they got
to
Savvy to say honey, and I had to watch it back again on my other character and record it so I could use it as a ringtone because I enjoyed it very much. Old sassy Sav, but like, bro, you already had there's no voice actors that are added to that cutscene besides the ones that are already there, except our Guardian, who says 2 words. And it's like, that's the only voice actor or actress that you would need to add. That's it. Everyone else was already in the recording booth doing the cutscene. So you could have just paid generic Guardian A and B to record 2 words and then leave.
Well, I think the simple answer here, Chad, is that they didn't want to step on the toes for next season's dialogue. So,
Our Guardian's on vocal rest.
Yeah, and this season is, this year is a filler year. So it's also like this is not meant to be that drawn out of a year. It's supposed to be just connect the dots that should have been connected over a year span, not 2 years. All right. My dislike for the week. I completed like a Savathun Spire, and I didn't pay attention to the drops that I got. And I went to the helm and claimed some bonuses from the cards. And I was like, oh, your next weapon you purchase is going to be a red border. And I purchased a scout rifle. And then I went, because it was only the last weapon that I needed for it to be done. And then when I went to go look at my postmaster, I also had a red border there. So I wasted a red border focus on the scout rifle.
Pain.
So.
That sucks. If it helps you, I already had all my red borders done, and then I unlocked that one this week too. And I'm like, well, Cool. That's great.
Dude, I think I've counted. I only have 2 of those weapons done. I have 2 at 4 out of 5, 1 at 3 out of 5, and the other one's at 1 out of 5. I am 6 red borders away. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it done before the season's over. I have no idea. It's gonna be close. I'm gonna have to do Legendary Spire every week to get the guaranteed one in order to get this done. Chad, I do have a question.
Yes.
On the
Am
cards.
I gonna have to throw up the? Oh, okay. Cards. Okay.
Oh, hold on. We throw up everybody can come back. You can come back now. We're all good. So whenever it comes to the cards, can I go get every single one I don't have right now, or do they have to rotate through the spire?
Yeah. It's just like the seasonal, the weekly content where if you're coming in late, you can just catch up to all of it. So all of them, they're open. The ones that are in the spire, all 8 or 9 of them now, they're always there, and all 5 of the ones in the altars are always there. So you can access them at any time.
Those must
So
be.
like if we go into
some in the
altars
altars and
later, I can run the both of you to all the different cards, and we can just pick them up and get out. And same thing with Spire. I can show you where every single card is in Spire, and then that's it.
I had a hero in my Legendary Spire I LFG Tuesday, and I was like, hey, if anybody wants to show me where they are, I wouldn't be mad about it. And some dude just shot where they all were. So shout out to that guy. My dislike, I guess just the 3rd season of the year, slow down. I don't want to say burnout, but this is the time to play some other games. Don't let Destiny get you mad or upset. Just move on. Pop in once or twice a week and keep it moving, because Destiny will be back. You can always count on that.
All right, that takes us to Gambling Corner. Fox, what's going on this week?
This week's the same as last week. None of us have played together. We're sucking right now, and you can tweet us at Destiny CC Pod and curse us out or make fun of us. If you say something funny, I'll probably read it next week on Gambling Corner. If you just really burn us good, so that's one way to handle it. But one day soon, it's almost time. All those Grandmasters are about ready to unlock, and there's going to be a fun two or 3 evenings. So I'm looking forward to that very, very much. And we still got to do Master Raid. We got to do some raid challenges. We got to get our raid red borders. So we got stuff to do, but kind of letting it stack, being honest with you. Because I'd rather play for 4 or 5 nights as opposed to play for like 2 hours a week with everybody. So it's kind of where we are right now. Sorry that we suck, but I believe that takes us on to the lore section.
Boy. So this week, like I said, we're going to be talking about one of the completed lore books, Book Sororicide. Book Sororicide is definitely interesting because it's going to be going into Eris's Book of Sorrow. So she's making her own Book of Sorrow since she is a hive god. There's 12 chapters. They're all based off of each one being one of the cards, and we unlocked all the cards this Tuesday, or at least most of us did, that either listen to this podcast or just play religiously like we do. So we're going to start off, and they give the name of the person whose perspective it's in right at the beginning of the chapter. So we're going to start off, Book 1, Eris Morn, Prolegamenon. Verse 8:1, The Sisters. Thoughts calcify into actions, and actions calcify into being. Such is the ontology of hive magic. Such is the deck of whispers that has unfolded beneath my hands. These cards are curious objects, esoterica manifested by my power and the Guardian's tides. They have taken on our forms, myself, Savathun, and Xivu Arath. Our loves and fears, our memories, our desires. Contemplate me. Contemplate the hive. These cards unsettle me. I do not wish to be unveiled so, but perhaps that is the consequence of my transformation. I am seen as I am, beneath my bandage, beneath my skin. So too are Xivu Arath and Savathun unveiled. Through these cards we have found ourselves connected, dear devoted sisters, and I, incohate, but for the eyes I have stolen. I have deciphered the meanings of the cards, drawn from the shapes of their reference. The whispers ask for reflection and meditation, speaking of the paths we have taken and who we have come to be. And so my utterings, alongside those of the two surviving sisters, have taken the form of a new book of sorrow, a bound collection of verses, sung by their gods and delivered by their brood as scripture. Now I deliver it to my brood. Now I number among their gods. Ayat. Chapter 2, Savathun, Imago, Unfurl. Verse 8, 2, The Witch. We were the last surviving siblings. That's what this has always been about for Xivu Arath. She wanted us all to survive. She would throw everything she could at us so we could learn to survive. Didn't quite work, did it? My brother's greatest acts of navigation were his metamorphoses. That was his tactic. He would change everything about himself so he could survive this universe. Meanwhile, my sister cuts the universe apart, makes it as sharp as she, until all that is left is her love. I'm a little bit of both. No need to choose. I don't have my brother's fear or my sister's vanity. Even in his infinite adaptability, Oryx could not withstand the Guardians. So Xivu Arath wants to prove she can, by being as rigid and unyielding as she always has been. No need to fix what isn't broken. Overwhelming forces, tactics, and intimidation. We are who we are, and we chose our morphs carefully. I wanted life. Xivu wanted vengeance and dominion. Oryx wanted to venture out, deep in thought, and feed on the delicacies of truth. Well, he got what he wanted. Now Oryx knows death more intimately than any of us. No bringing him back. Poor Xivu's distraught, with all that war and ruin to hide behind. She thinks she doesn't show it. Deep down, she believes Oryx must have survived through their logic. She believes he'll be conjured back, just like he conjured us. That was a long time ago. We've moved past that. Despite everything to come, I will live on, with and without them. Should I say that I miss my siblings? That I miss the times when the threats of death and short lifespan were still with us? When we piloted our needle, when we dove and became what we became? No. Xivu is the sentimental one. We are not who we were. Who we were no longer exists. I sound like my brother. Chapter 3, Xivu Arath, Battle Song. Verse 8, 3, The Adherent. What I am, uttered by Xivu Arath, god of many shapes. I am the god of silence. I slit 100 million wailing throats. I watch as their blood scatters like precious stones. Their screams turn to sighs, their sighs turn to silence. I stand among the dead and listen to this absence of sound. I am the god of logic. I shiver in delight to speak the truth, because speaking the truth is good. I speak my brother's words. He cut from the worm god Akka's throat. I am the god of life. I pair dead things from truths, and in this I find life that cannot be extinguished. I hold that life, nurture it by testing it against myself, by removing the weaknesses that bring death. In this I embrace life and all its strength. I am the god of love. Any life that can withstand me will be with me at the final shape. There we will stand together. That life will know me, and I will know it. Paired to our true shapes, seeing each other for what we are. I am the god of all that exists. I have endured while others have not. I am the last surviving sibling. I will stand at the final shape and be the end. I will maintain my existence when nothing else has. I will stand alone. Chapter 4, Eris Morn, evocative desire. Verse 8:4, the Harbinger. My vile transformation is complete. What was foretold, what was feared, is now true. Eris Morn has given in to the hive's endless hunger. She has taken up the mantle of a hive queen and leads vast armies of acolytes into war. Inevitable, inimitable. Who else but her? What else but this? Ikora believes my transformation was not necessary. It was. I hear whispers, but when I do not, they have been with me since the Hellmouth. This is what I am. It cannot be refuted or denied. This is the shape I have chosen for myself, my morph, the Harbinger. Ikora believes I will martyr myself. But what martyr walks out towards oblivion with a knife in hand? I will not go so serenely. In my morph I am unafraid. In my morph I wield fear, that earliest of fears, fears of devourment. Since we ourselves were prey, we have felt terror at the gaping maw, at the hunger gazing at us with delight. I have stared that hunger in the face. I have endured it for too long. Now I will be the predator. I will devour. I will instill that first fear. I hunger, but that hunger has always strained against the limitations of my lightless body. But here, in the Witch Queen's endless hypogeum, that hunger has bloomed. This part of me has erupted from my body as from the earth, like one from the obscene carnivorous corpse flower's dark cores, swallowing sunlight, plush petals open to death. Ridiculous. Who would compare hunger to a flower? I do not wait passively for my prey. No, it is a worm. A worm I have desperate urge to feed. It can be nothing else. I think this is going to be the first Book of Shadow that's written from multiple perspectives. And I think Savathun understands this and realizes this because she says I a lot. And she talks to the reader. So I think she knows that this book is being written. And it's got the Savathun, Zivu, and Eris Morn, the god of vengeance, within it. This book is long. It's 12. I'm going to be reading them in 3 different sections of 4s, but definitely excited to get it more into it and get Eris to be hopefully a little more crazy. I want her to go down the hive rabbit hole a little bit more in this book.
Dude, I felt like at the end, like Eris is like, after she did all this, she's like Thanos, and she just goes to that planet to be by himself, and she just like, I'm just ready to chill out and have tea. Like I did everything I wanted to be. I became a hive god. You know, I slayed one hive god, and banished the other one from its internal home. So it's literally like done the impossible.
Yeah. She might actually take Jermaine out for ramen after.
Don't you call him? Don't you talk about him like that?
Oh, my apologies.
So, all right, that's the end of the lore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I'm gonna throw a NotRyanFox mailbag
Hot take.
mailbag question in here.
Gotcha.
So during the expansion that we just had, Lightfall, we had Osiris throwing the strand around between his fingers and things. Is that going to pay off at any point?
I'm willing to bet it'll get involved next season because we haven't seen him since. Literally, the campaign of Lightfall was it, and then after that, he says he's going to go take some time and work on Strand, and then we get him on comms in the containment. The next season, in Season of the Deep, we get him on comms talking about Strand and talking about that whole series, 13-week series of stuff that happens in that room on the computer.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's important, but it's not about Strand. So I think he's gonna come back as a player, and bringing Strand perspectives into it, because he's basically had most of a year to work on Strand on his own. So I think he'll be involved in how we get into the portal by using Strand, because Strand is strongest near the I'm forgetting its name, the Veil. So I think, and since the Veil's the one that opened up that portal into the Traveler, I think he's going to be able to use Strand to help connect some things to be able to make us go through. Because as Savathun said in the lore, and Ikora said it, Savathun already told us we have the solution. We know how to do it. We just need to figure it out. So we have all the tools to make this thing go, but we need to figure out what it is to make it go.
I bet we get inside. I bet we get inside there at some point in the next expansion.
I think Osiris is not going to be mentioned again with that Strand stuff. I think it was initially they was going to have him be like the Strand like ambassador or something like that, but they ran out of time. But that was just sitting there for that little bit.
So, Chad, I have another question. So, at the end of the Taken King, we're going way back. The very end, after you kill Regicide, you kill Oryx. There's like a 5-second, maybe 10-second scene of like Eris going up, and does she pick up the hilt of a sword or something that she picks up, and it kind of pans on her, and then that's like the last scene that you see from that expansion. Like, what was the significance of that?
The sword. Well, she's picking something up to be able to make Oryx into the weapon, because she's the one that we use to make Touch of Malice. She makes Touch of Malice for us.
Okay.
So she picks up, I think, the first calcified fragment, and then she uses it as a blueprint to make the Touch of Malice.
Gotcha. All right. So that brings us to the mailbag, which is probably other than the gambling corner, this is probably my favorite segment of the podcast each week. So this is where we take questions that are DM'd to us on Twitter or X or whatever it's called now, or sometimes people type them into the chat, and we will read them from there. The first question this week: do we see Savathun again before the final shape?
That's definitely tricky. I was thinking so. I was thinking initially that we're gonna wake her up at the end of this season, and then she's gonna be a player in the next season to help us find a way to do it. But she literally woke up, said, "You guys can do it yourself," and then just left. So I'm like, well, that ruins that idea. So she might like talk like by proxy through Amaru, might like hop on comms every now and again to be like, hey, you guys are doing this wrong, and then leave, like the prankster she is, or just like it'll be some like Zavala's talking to us and Ikora's trying to do something, and then she'll just hop in and be like, are you sure that's the right way? And then just leaves comms, and everyone's like, what but I don't think she's gonna be a major player next season, unfortunately, because she's great.
I don't think we hear from him again until like a while after Final Shape. Like she's gonna have some kind of a character arc that continues on to Destiny 3.
Which episode is the Hive episode? It's the last one, isn't it? Because it goes Vex for the first episode, and then Scorn, and then we go back to Hive during Final Shape. So I think based on what you're saying, I think she'll be back on the third episode next year, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
I
make
hate
sense.
this. I hate this scoring. Just throwing that out there.
They're a bunch of chumps.
Dude, I was thinking about the other day. It's like the Scorn are more like Guardians than any other one because they get brought back from the dead, right?
Yeah, yeah. The that strike was the only one that made sense to keep playing over and over because the enemies kept resing themselves again.
Do you think next season's dungeon's gonna be Scorn?
God.
I'm hoping it's either Dreaming City or Europa, but I'm hoping not. Although that would make the dungeon incredibly difficult, which would be fun. But because could you imagine like each like wave of enemies has one of each flavor captain? So you have one guy who's dropping immunity totems, another guy who's dropping the vacuum totems, and another guy who's just throwing fireballs at everyone. Like it'd be a nightmare. It'd be a fun nightmare, but I would very much dislike that.
It's time for another Taken dungeon.
I think it's Vex time, maybe. I'm feeling Vexy.
Wasn't that the last one? Spire?
No, it's Hive.
Well, no. But before that one, it was Hive, and then Spire was before that.
Yeah, I guess it was. I guess you're right. It's not going to be Vex.
Taken would make sense. Fallen are our friends, not food. I'd do a Taken dungeon. We haven't had one since Prophecy, huh? Oh no, Duality? No, yeah, Prophecy. I'm down with Taken.
Question 2: what is your history/relationship with D&D? Do you
No
ever
history.
chat?
I know it exists. Never even flirted with D&D, but just like it's something that intrigues me. I'll get into it.
So I kind of grew up pretty religious household. D&D, you might as well have had the Ouija boards out summoning Satan if you discuss D&D. But I know I have several friends that played. My brother-in-law is pretty into it. My wife used to play. So I think that we're going to try to get a game going. Actually, we discussed one of my wife's friends, a girl she went to college with and is friends with, actually had some stuff published by like her player's guide was published by D&D, like whatever company does it. Is it Wizards of the Coast or is that?
I'm pretty sure.
So it's like an official book type thing. So we did buy that. And I talked to my brother-in-law, who's pretty familiar. We talked about maybe trying to do one over Discord, like maybe every other week or something. So if we do that, I'll bring it up on here where you can watch us. But just know we don't know what the heck we're doing, and we're going to suck. But that's something you'd be into. Let us know. Question 3. Will you guys do a Mount Rushmore of Halloween candy on the Halloween episode? I'm down with that.
Okay.
Now, the question is...
First seed is going to be candy corn.
Yeah. Well, I know I can get it in the 4th round now. I mean, nobody else is going to be coming for the candy corn. So, we got it. I can't get it to focus here, but we got the big bag here. We got the 2.5 pound bag here. So, but yeah, we'll come up with something. I'm sure I know what number 1's going to be. Number 1 pick. It's going to be Reese cup of some sort, isn't it?
Yeah, unless like Chad comes up with something that's only like out there in California.
I'm already thinking of stuff that you don't know what it is again, because I don't care.
All right, what's the next one, Jared?
Number 4, Halloween sneaking up. If you could go as any Disney character in a Hollywood quality costume and makeup, what would you choose?
See, here's my thing. if it's like us three hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
I would choose Shax because I'm the smallest, so it'd be funny to have the smallest dude be Shax. That would make me laugh. Otherwise, I think I got the hair to make a crow work.
Okay. Yeah.
I think I could do it.
Yeah.
And that way I could get, people walking at me and wanting to kick me in the shins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not that I like that for any reason, but it's just a general reaction people have when they look at crow. Or taking a lead from Mr. Dado Wado himself, the Exo Stranger. I think I could fill out her pants. I think I can make that work.
You sure fill out something.
I'd be Kaido.
Kaido? Okay.
Yes.
Nah, actually,
she has like the big feather thing on the back. Like
actually,
her
I'd be
war form,
Callus.
not her cutscene. Callus.
Callus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we talking
Fourth.
Witness Callus or we talking OG Leviathan Callus?
Leviathan Callus on the the hammock.
The throne one?
Yeah, with the chalice.
That's the best Callus.
Just
Mm-hmm.
drinking my purple drink out of the chalice.
Make you afloat. We could get one of those rascals and make a moving throne and just.
I'd be
an
arm collar. I think that'd be the coolest. Like if I got that real like arm collar costume, that'd be cool.
That could be anything.
A dragon?
Well, but their whole thing is the shapeshifting.
Yeah.
But you're talking like Last Wish form,
Yeah.
Ahamkara?
Yeah.
Okay.
I really
think that's
thought-
the true form, maybe.
I really thought one of you would choose Saint 14. But
I went more the funny route.
Yeah, the armor
Sorry.
set for Saint 14 would be the best.
It'd be crazy. If I could keep it, that might be a good option. Because if you go Shax, you never take the helmet off again. So I don't. It'd be hard to go through day-to-day life.
yeah, but you'd have a lot of good. You could do a lot of good like horn puns. So
Yeah.
that you always have that, and I believe that takes us to number time. Pick a number between 1 and 100. I need to get this pulled up on. So the way we do this, we pick a number between 1 and 100. On the Twitch stream, I always bring it over just for the sake of just keeping everybody honest on everything. You know what I mean? So on the third roll is the number. So you guys pick first. Number between 1 and 100.
33.
52.
My number is going to be 87. First roll. Second roll. Third roll, 60. We finally got a high number. 60 is the number if you hit 60. Congratulations. I forgot to tell everybody to put it in the chat. That's my bad. But saying that, follow us on Twitter at DestinyCCPod. Send us a bunch of friend requests. Thank you for watching and listening. We really appreciate it. I'm going to let these other two guys sign off.
Man, the story that's led up to this point in the season is pretty great. So if you haven't been able to experience that yourself, either go back and watch the YouTube videos or go catch up in game. It probably won't take you too long.
No, this seasonal content will be really fast. Definitely the story was great. We're going to be going through, like I said, this lore book that I'm currently on is going to be 2 more parts. So be excited to finish that off for the next 2 weeks.
As always, go Cats. Love you guys.